the SnailTrail4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, riching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, seeing how great Kevin Poole's noodle is, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler. Joining me for another episode of the SnailTrail4x4 podcast is the one and only Mr. Jimmy Jett. The adventure awaits today. You're awaiting adventure?
I'm always awaiting adventure.
Yeah.
Always looking forward to it. Always wanting to go out in it. And usually having a good time.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever have really bad times on your adventures, or?
Just when I'm with Dylan.
That's true. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bad adventures and bad day after adventures.
Worst. Yeah. That's maybe how I should phrase it. The only time I have bad adventures is the day after hanging out with Dylan.
You got to hang out with him that one day. He came over with the burn pile day.
I know. That was very bizarre. Yeah. And we still put a few back.
Of course.
So, but it was fun.
Nice.
It was good. He brought a friend with him. So I think he was a little bit more tame.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's trying to show off.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
All right. Can people on the video see Kevin Poole's noodle?
I don't think so. I think it's too high. Or they get like this last chunk of the snail trail sign up here. But yeah, there's a pool noodle up here if you're watching the video and it's not showing up, and it's written on it Kevin's.
That's all it says. Yeah. Well, it did say.
And then he signed it.
Yep.
Which is kind of funny as well. He signed his own noodle.
Yep. Yes, he did. Oh man. So yeah, we're here today, Monday episode. Hello, everybody, and hopefully everybody had a really fun weekend. We are coming up on Memorial Day.
Yeah.
So, which means the summer camping season kind of kicks off typically around Memorial Day.
Yeah. Off-roading season is beginning.
It's coming to an end.
Snow wheeling season is coming to an end.
Yes.
It's done in NorCal.
No, there's still like 2 to 3 feet of snow up there at the passes, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty
slushy,
crazy.
Nasty.
I wouldn't go snow wheeling.
Yeah. Nasty messes.
But yeah, man, there's some snow up on the Rubicon still. Some people went in, it's always fun this time of year.
See how far people can get.
See who gets through the trail first, right? All the way through. Who's the first people to do it? And so the race is on, and the furthest somebody's made it is just the other side of Gatekeeper, pretty much. So pretty much the top of the bowl.
Top of the bowl? Okay. Snail Hill?
Yeah, top Snail Hill. Yeah, I think so is where they got to. So that's the update currently on the race to get through the Rubicon. We may start a new segment every year.
Yeah.
Who gets through the Rubicon first?
Then we need to figure out who they are and interview them. How was it? How did it go? How many days were you stuck out there? Was there any Donner party happening?
Yeah. We're gonna make this bigger than the cannonball run.
Yeah,
that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, man. So I know some people with trips coming up this weekend. I'm like, I don't think you're making it all the way through the trail. No. Feel free to try though. Have fun.
Good luck on Indian Trail.
Yeah, I will never ever go down Indian Trail in snow or ice or anything.
Actually, it's probably melted.
You think so?
Being the way that it faces, the direction it faces.
Yeah. Isn't that northwest facing?
I would say it's more east facing.
Is that east facing right there? Yeah, I think you're right. It is northeast. So, yeah, maybe it is kind of clear. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. I've gone up there before and then parked up at Glenn's office.
Yeah.
And then hiked down in sleety conditions before, and I fell twice just hiking. So,
well, we did that run. Was it with the Aussie at the beginning of the year?
Oh yeah, where it snowed early in the day. It
was snowing early in the day, and we're like, if we get to the Indian Trail and it looks bad, we're turning around. Yeah. And we got to Indian Trail, and it was nice.
It was nice. It was a good day after that. Yeah, it was cool. That was a really fun day.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a lot lot.
Man, okay.
It wasn't an odd. Did I say Aussie? He was a Kiwi.
Kiwi. Oh, he's going to be upset with you.
So pissed.
I think all the Aussies are going to be pissed at you too. All Aussie listeners. Charles is going to call in. Oi, mate, what do you think you're doing?
He sounds just like that.
He does too. Yeah. Man, let's see. we got a fun topic for you guys today. We're going to be covering a little bit of the Rubicon Trail and getting ready for summer wheeling season here. But we got some kind of housekeeping stuff to get through.
Yeah, we do.
Some fun things. The MORRFlate Air Hub is out on pre-order. We are looking to see what we can do to have them for sale at PNW Expo.
Ooh.
So that's kind of like near the end of June, third week of June.
Yeah.
So we're really trying to push.
You think they're going to be in that early?
Possibly. I got some really good news.
Okay.
It's gonna be a big push. But I think ultimately we should be able to start shipping the pre-orders maybe by the end of June rather than July 15.
Nice.
But I'm really trying to push to see if we can get some units in for PNW Expo.
Is MORRFlate having a booth at PNW Expo?
We will have a booth.
Cool.
MORRFlate Sean, MF for Sean, the people pleaser. He'll be out at the booth. And
is that his title?
Yeah.
Customer service guy, people pleaser?
Yep. He's the MF for people pleaser.
I did send him a message 2 days ago asking him for some advice.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's my go-to customer service advice.
Dude,
I wrote what I wrote out. I knew he was going to say, yeah, you shouldn't send that. But I just had to be like, somebody else needs to read this because it's gold.
This needs to be some record and accomplishment of validity to my accomplishment. What I did.
Pretty much it was a guy wrote in and was like, hey, I'm really interested in buying your product. Do you have any discount codes?
Oh, yeah.
And my response was something along the lines of, but it was definitely better. But it was here, actually, I can pull it up in my phone.
You want to read it to everybody?
Yeah, I'll read it. It's classic. I did not send this.
Okay.
Right. It was not sent, but this is what I wanted to say. I said, the classic discount code, please. Because who actually needs to pay full price and support small businesses, right? Here's your discount code.
Okay.
I didn't send that.
Good job.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
But that's what I wrote originally and wanted to send. But yeah, Sean talked me out of it. We'll go with that.
Good job, Sean.
Yeah, good job, Sean.
Yeah, he's great with customer service stuff, man. I'm really glad that I've handed over more of the customer service stuff to him. He's really just has a drive to try and take care of people.
Good.
No matter what the cost. And that's really what I want for the business as well. Like, it's not worth pinching dimes to customers over something if they're not happy with something in your product. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Do a better job and make a better product or have a better service. Like that's my answer to that. That's what we're doing. So
I just personally, and now we're going down a rabbit hole. I can't,
there we go.
I just can't, it shocks me that people will message me and be like, hey, I really like your stuff. Can I get a discount on it?
Yeah, but you got to remember that a majority of the world, haggling and bartering is like the way of life.
Right.
It's the culture and society. And we have a melting pot of cultures and societies here in the United States.
Yeah.
And there's just a ton of people that are...
I get it. And I get it. Like the worst case scenario is somebody says no. Right. But it just, it's just shock. Like, I'm not going to write Nike or, some big company and be like, hey, those Jordans, they're really cool.
Yeah.
I think I can get a discount on them.
I don't know. I would say people do still.
I'm sure they do. It's not me, I guess. Like, I'm not somebody that, if I can't find the discount code, that's one of my, I've actually responded that way before. Like, yeah, there's plenty of discount codes out there. If you can find one, feel free to use it. I've used that one before.
That's what we tell people at MORRFlate is we have a lot of influencers out there that are running our stuff, telling people about their experience with our stuff. Go get a discount code from one of them. There's a lot of them out there, and learn something while you're at it too.
Yeah.
So
all right. Yeah. I'm done. It shocks me, baffles me that people just ask for discounts.
So I'm gonna one up you here.
Okay, ready.
My roommate in college hated the guy. Absolutely fucking hated. There's that expressive language.
Yes. Thanks, Reed.
Yeah, thank you, Reed. So he did some stuff in the dorm room that I was like, dude, you can't be doing that in here. Like, he stored 3 bikes in our tiny little dorm room.
Yeah. No.
He was taking my stuff, like my school supply stuff.
Yeah.
And using it for himself. He was The neighbor across from us, we shared the doorway across, he was giving a barbershop time and just leaving everybody's hair in the middle of the hallway right outside our door.
Interesting. Okay.
So one of the things my roommate did was he loved Taco Bell, but he hated paying for Taco Bell. So what he would do was he would go in and get a meal at Taco Bell late at night when that third shift manager is on duty and they're typically not somebody who holds a lot of power in terms of managers out of Taco Bell or
sure. Okay.
Is willing to put up with people's crap kind of thing. And so he would go to these Taco Bells around town and he would order up whatever his order was. And then he would come back to the dorm room and call the restaurant and say, hey, so I was just there and I picked up an order. Here's what I ordered. And I picked it up for me and my little cousin or my nephew or my kid or whatever it was. He would make up a person.
Yeah.
And say, and he's throwing up now. Is there like anything wrong with your food? You guys having other reports of this? And obviously they'd be like, no, because it's not true. And he'd be like, well, I don't know what to do. Should I call the public health department and let them know about the situation? And then inevitably the manager, third shift manager, be like, no, you don't need to do that. Don't get us in trouble.
Right.
Like, what can we do for you? What can we do?
Yeah.
He'd be like, well, I don't know. If you could just give me a replacement meal, I'll be okay with that. And I'm in my head, I'm thinking the manager can't be falling for this shit every single time he would fucking do it. And I'm like, hey, if you just threw up or your kid threw up or somebody you loved threw up and you were afraid of food poisoning, why would you want another meal from there?
Yeah.
Right away kind of thing. And then, but sure enough, they would give in. They'd be like, okay, yeah, here's another meal. Come on down and we'll give you a voucher or whatever it is. And then he would leave right there, go back and get his voucher and come back later and have a free meal later on. And then he would wait a couple weeks or go around to the different Taco Bells and do it over time. And I was like, dude, you're just there's, I don't understand why you do that. I don't get it.
Especially for Taco Bell.
So yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I'm a big proponent of, just like you said, if there's a good company out there that's doing some really cool stuff and they're supporting the things that you want to support as well, pay full price for something.
Yeah.
It goes a really long way to putting food on people's tables, especially at small businesses, and doing other things that business stands behind that they decide to do with their profits. Right. So
yeah, I think my biggest gripe is there's discount codes out there. Go find the discount code. You're not even trying to put in the find a discount code.
Yeah.
Right. You're not even, and maybe they are, and that maybe I just don't have enough influences out there. But I would say that an easy 70% of my orders that come in use a discount code.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so they're out there. I know they are. This person's so lazy. I'm picturing them just being so lazy that they want a discount.
Yeah.
And so they just asked the owner, me, for a discount on a product because they're not willing to do the work and find it themselves.
Yeah. That makes sense. I could see that frustrates me too.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get over this sandhill. The Air Hub is our monthly giveaway.
Monthly giveaway for May. And we're going to be running, MORRFlate is running a Memorial Day sale during Memorial Day week. So
sweet. Okay.
May 24th through May 31st. I think
that's right.
Yeah, May 31st. Running 20% off site wide. You just cannot, on AirHub. AirHub is excluded. But everything else, 20% off for Memorial Day week. And that's the updates for MORRFlate stuff.
Nice.
AirHub. So
good. We're always accepting reviews on the podcast over at Apple Podcast or Apple iTunes Podcast, whatever they call it. Apple Podcast, I think. Apple Tune Cast. If you go over there, you leave us a review, you will be entered to win a swag pack. We're doing swag pack releases. We'll probably have one due here maybe next Thursday. We got one. We'll check it out.
Ooh, yeah, maybe.
For 650 reviews. And in that swag pack, we are giving away, I have to read it, an Onyx Off-Road Elite membership.
You got the cue cards over there?
I do. They are right over there.
Good.
Yep. At 700, we're giving away an Elite membership. And then at 750, we're giving away a set of Yokohama tires.
Yeah, buddy. I'm excited for those.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could use another set of tires.
Yes, me too. I've got another rig that I can put more tires on here soon, hopefully.
Put some 40s on the dually.
Yeah, that'd be badass. You need more than a set of tires for that.
I need a set and a half.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
All right. So cool stuff from Onyx and Yokohama. Thank you to both those companies for supporting the podcast and doing some cool stuff for the listeners.
Yes.
Check them out if you guys are interested in mapping software or tires for your vehicle. They have some really awesome options for off-road tires.
Yep.
Let's see what else. Anything else we got going on?
June 1st, Merlin Crawler Celebration of Life. Yep. Come on out there. We'll be out there. I'll have to talk to Tyler off air, but we probably are I'm going to throw this out there, but we're probably going to camp somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And
we're
going to try to camp somewhere, and then maybe we'll pin drop our location and people can join us.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
That'd be fun. Cool. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Shall we head on over to the campfire discussion? No.
You got something to your right.
Oh, that's right. We do have some stuff over here.
A month late, but I finally got Tyler's birthday present in.
All right.
But he also wasn't here for that month. So, I'm not really that late.
It's almost taller than me sitting up. Technically, since I was gone for April, you're only a week and a half late.
Yeah,
I guess. So May 6th to now.
Could be worse.
Could be worse. That's what we got. All right. No way. Hold this.
Now I'm skiing.
So is it, I assume it is what it is. What the box says it is?
It is what the box says it is. For the most part.
That's awesome. I gotta get to brewing coffee now.
Yes, that is 100% why I went this direction.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
So cool.
So for those not watching the video, I got Tyler a cylinder keg, but it's a brewer's keg. So it has a big opening on the top that where you would pour, I don't know if they call it the wort, but the beer in there. It would be after the wort process, I believe. So you can pour the beer in there and then you would pressurize it. And that's how you get the carbonization. Wow.
A little pressure in it.
It had some pressure in it. But Tyler's always wanted, since baby Reed, he's been saying he wants a keg of coffee. So he could just walk over and pour himself out some coffee.
Yep.
And now he has a cylinder that can hold a lot of coffee.
That's a lot of coffee. It's going to be amazing. Have a cold coffee every morning, iced coffee. Then I need to find a way to do nitro in it. But I don't know how regulated that is. I've heard it can be
I
difficult
have no
to get
idea.
nitrous.
Yeah, but you're going to need a special...
It's a special coupler, looks like.
Special types of ins and outs. And that's it. And for the most part, that's it. So you probably can get your own special nitro one.
Yeah.
And then you might be able to plumb that one up to the tap. Or one of them up to the tap.
Yeah, this one would go up to the tap. This one is where the nitro or gas, CO2, if I do CO2 in.
Yep.
In here. Fluid goes here.
Yep.
In here, out to the tap there, and should be straightforward.
Exactly. And I figured, I know you can buy like big boxes of coffee from a local coffee shop. So you could probably just be like, hey, instead of putting it in a cardboard box in a bag, can you just pour me 5 gallons of coffee in here, please?
That would be fun. Yeah, go find a place, a small shop that has an industrial roaster.
Yeah.
And just let them go to town on it.
Well, yeah, you could probably, I think all Starbucks, you can buy those like.
You can, but they're like $30 or $40 per, what do they call them? To-goes, whatever they are. But yeah, this is awesome, man. I'm gonna really, really enjoy this.
Good.
I was just giving up on the whole coffee thing, and I was just gonna go get another keg of beer so that I had something to use for the tap still.
Okay.
And I was literally looking at doing that this or next week.
Well, glad I prevented that from happening.
Yeah, this is cool. I'll have some coffee set up now on the bar. That'll be great.
Yeah, that's gonna be rad.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome. Happy birthday.
I'm excited. Thank you. We got a gift over here.
Okay.
We did. Let me get this out of the way.
It has a note to it.
Has a note.
Perfect.
It's from a listener.
Okay. That's a good.
We have friends in high places, Jimmy. It says, Tyler, congratulations on the baby boy. I'm looking forward to hearing about all the new adventures to come now that you have the new little wheeling buddy. If you guys are looking for more topics to cover on the podcast, I'd be interested in hearing the pros and cons to the Lance camper you chose. Yeah. It's an interesting one. I hadn't thought about doing that. I know I haven't read this note yet, by the way, just FYI. I saw who it was from and I was like, oh, okay, cool. But I haven't actually read the note. So I know you just got it, but wondered if you looked at alternatives like toy haulers. I would love to get one eventually, but always thought that having it in a crawler hauler step up, so slide-in camper on the front of a gooseneck trailer, would be more beneficial than having it in the bed of the truck. At work, Apex Tool Group, we just released some new Crescent tools and thought you and Jimmy would like to put them to use.
Oh,
I had a big hand in the design of the new adjustable wrenches, so I hope you will find them enjoyable to use out on the trail. Keep crawling, Jesse Higgins.
Awesome. Thanks, Jesse.
Jesse's a really cool guy. He sends us fun little love notes like that, accompanied typically by new
toys
that Crescent and Gear Wrench and
it's beef.
Some other people come out with the companies and brands owned by Apex Tool Group. So, it looks like there's.
What's that one?
That's a heavy duty cutter.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know. Is that the same thing as that?
Nope. Smaller. That's a 12-inch. That must be an 8-inch.
Like an 8 or 9
or 6 or 10.
Here's a cutter.
Another cutter. Those are heavy duty covers.
Yeah,
wow.
They are.
No BS. Lifetime warranty.
8-inch. Oh, this one's looks smaller.
Yeah. 12, 10, 8.
Oh, okay. Geez, there's a ton of stuff in here.
Well, I bet you have a 12, 10, and 8 in there as well.
That looks like a 12 and a 10.
Yeah.
I can't hold on to all these.
You got a table right in front of you.
Let's see. Ooh, that's another heavy duty. That's those are big cutters. Heavy gauge cutter.
That's for your 0-aught cables.
Yeah, it's for your welding cables.
13% less force to cut.
Nice. This is that same thing.
Same thing. Heavy duty cutters. Yeah.
Electrical cable cutters.
Is there more?
There's a couple smaller things in here.
Oh my gosh. Smaller.
Oh, 4-inch one? These are 6 inches.
Adjustable California socket sets.
Puerto Rican socket sets. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sweet. Thanks, man.
So I'm curious. He said he had a major hand in designing these. I'm curious what
you designed.
The design parts are.
Easy on off, won't snag. Yeah. I don't know.
The jaw feels nice and tight. A lot of sometimes you'll see an adjustable wrench that their jaws are just.
I like how there's measurements on them. And on one side standard and on the other side's metric.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. That's really, I went, wow, it says 10 and I flipped it over and I'm like, oh, it says 1/2 inch here. So that's really neat. And I'm sure the other ones have that as well. Yeah. So now you can, this is going to be my cheat tool from when I want to figure out what bolt head something is or what size anything is. I'll just grab one of these guys.
This is kind of a neat feature. So the jaw on this side, the side that doesn't move.
Yes.
It's indented down at the corner. You can't really see it very well with this because the bracket from the plastic packaging is in the way, but it indents right there so that there's more space for a corner or an edge of a nut or a bolt head or whatever to go into, and it won't be able to come back out through the jaw.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a nice feature.
Let's look on the big one. Maybe it'll show up more. Oh yeah, I totally see it. Yep. That's really neat. Thanks, Jesse.
Yeah, there's like a nice little hole there when you put the jaws together. Yeah, giggity. Yeah, it was neat.
Yeah.
So,
and I think those would be a fun topic to cover. I actually, I've thought about, that Lance camper or a camper on a trailer or what would be a good camping situation. It would go hand in hand with our daily driving episode we did last Monday.
Yep. Yeah, it would be a really good add-on to that. Maybe we'll do that one here shortly. I'll add it to the list of topics, but I like that one. That's because I definitely went through thinking about what to do when I landed on the Lance. So I think it'd be a fun episode.
Yeah. We could pick your brain.
Yeah.
About what your thought process was and why you decided to go that route.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesse. Super cool stuff. Thanks for the love note, buddy.
Yeah.
And do we head on over to
let's do it.
Today's campfire discussion? All right. Grab your favorite drinks, everybody. I'm going to open up my beer with these wire cutters. And we'll be right on back with today's campfire discussion.
That'll be on the other podcast.
The other podcast.
The 4-Wheel Underground website just got an upgrade. Come on by and check out the new functionality, new photos, and new pricing. Finally works on mobile too. Visit 4wheelunderground.com and find your new suspension today.
Oh, welcome back, everybody. Has more people found the other podcast yet?
I don't think so.
I think Ben Drankin is the only one that's really found it so far.
You think?
Yeah.
They did talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know who's found it. Nobody keeps saying if they've found it yet. So I know there's people that are still looking for it. So
yeah.
Anyways, welcome back to this podcast, the SnailTrail4x4 Off-Road Podcast. We are talking today about kicking off the summer wheeling season.
Summer
wheeling season. The
off-roading
summer
time of enjoyment.
Somewhat, and yeah, maybe
the best off-roading season ever.
The best camping. I don't even go that far, man. I don't know.
How often do you camp in winter?
Not enough. I will say that.
Therefore, this one's better.
Okay. It's easier.
Yes.
And I like things being easy. Man, no, this is going to be a fun one. So, we were sitting and chatting over lunch, earlier, and we were like, you know what I really like about the Rubicon Trail? You know what I really like about Barrett Lake? Oh yeah, that's kind of what I like about, Strawberry as well, or whatever. And it started making us think, what are those things that we really enjoy personally about the trails that we go and visit a lot?
Yeah.
Or that we've been on in the past. So, could be NorCal trails, could be Moab trails, could be Johnson Valley stuff, whatever it is. But, we started talking about, we're like, there's a lot of trails, and I think we could talk for a very long time about all these. So we're going to kind of break it up. And, today we're going to talk about the Rubicon in particular, for a couple of reasons. Because there's a lot of people out there in the world that can come out and visit the Rubicon, that do come out and visit the Rubicon.
It's a bucket list item for them. They want to off-road the Rubicon.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And then I think we're going to end up doing is talk about all the other trails in another episode.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
So we'll see how that
keep
goes.
it to NorCal, and then maybe, we'll break it down.
Outside of California, outside of NorCal. So yeah, we're going to talk about the Rubicon today. Woohoo! Because, we're coming up to Memorial Day. And
wheeling season.
The summer wheeling season, the swimming season. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
That's swim season.
Well, the only problem with
wheeling swim
season during February up on the Rubicon is the lakes are iced over.
Yeah, it's just harder to do. Like I said, it's you can
bring
still
your
do
ice axe.
Yeah, I just use my chainsaw. But yeah, man. So the summer wheeling season is coming up.
Yes.
And we wanted to talk about, we're starting to reminisce and like get antsy because we have a lot of snow melt going on here in California and NorCal this particular. And we can't really go out on the trails. It's that weird time of year where trails are closed as the snow melt happens until most of the snow melt is done. And we're able to go out without just completely having a mud bog fest in the middle of these rock crawling trails.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. The vast majority of the reasons trails get closed out here in Northern California is because of sediment runoff.
Mm-hmm.
The assistant said what the actual scientific name of that on one of the podcasts when you were gone. I forgot what it was. But I was like, I need to remember that. Sedimentary something. I don't know. So we don't really wheel in those transition periods when it's going from winter to summer and there's a lot of water moving and there's muddy ground. We don't really go wheeling out here because of the sedimentary movement that could flow down into the rivers, that do flow down into the or go down into the creeks, to the streams, to the rivers, to the ocean, or whatever, however they
the delta into our watershed. Yeah. It gets a lot of sediment into the watersheds. And we have a pretty big water infrastructure in California with dams and reservoirs. And the more sediment that goes down into the watershed, the more that dams kind of get plugged up and backed up, and they have to drain reservoirs and dredge out the whole reservoir to get rid of a bunch of the sediment, and it just becomes a big thing. So we try and do what we can.
Us off-roaders are the sole reason for
We are the sole reason, according to the California Water Board.
Yep.
So, anyways, we do our part to play nice. And so we try and stay off trails when it's wet. So lower elevation trails are actually doing pretty good right now. You can go out and visit a lot of them. But the higher elevation trails are all kind of closed up. But that means that those higher elevation ones are the ones Jimmy and I typically really enjoy going to.
Yeah, and we're not allowed to, so we're reminiscing about the good old times.
When I was a kid back in my day.
But like last year.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the Rubicon today.
Yeah, but we're not really going to talk about the Rubicon in a way. We're going to talk about key features, fun highlights, maybe some obstacles, but we have fantastic Rubicon episodes. Episode 220, which is our Rubicon history episode. If you want to listen to that, that was with John ARENZ and Merlin. Fantastic gentlemen that know way too much history about what the Rubicon and how it all came about. And then I think it was 440, and I think we did 440 like part A and part A and part 2 or whatever, however we numbered them. And those were the obstacle names. So we went down the Rubicon, traveled the Rubicon. What do you want to spiritually or in our minds? And we went obstacle by obstacle, and why are they named that? So
what's the story behind it?
What's the story behind the name? So if you're interested in those episodes, go check them out. They're fantastic and fun. Today's going to be more of like surrounding areas, key features, why we like to go up there. What's a point of attraction for us?
Yep. So, and kind of to piggyback on a little bit, Rubicon Trail Foundation has been doing a lot of informational videos as well about similar stuff. Why did something get named that way? What's the history behind points of interest on the trail? But he's going to start, Ken, the president, is going to start interviewing some key people.
Oh, cool.
And I think one of the first interviews he's doing is with Mike Arnold.
Oh, nice.
So they'll get to hear about why the Indian Trail is called Indian Trail. And some of Mike Arnold's.
Why it's Arnold's Rock.
And why Arnold's Rock is there, yeah.
You think he's going to interview us about why it's called Snail Hill?
Probably not.
No, come on, Ken.
I'll talk to him.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll make it happen. So there's some really cool stuff that RTF is doing as well over on their YouTube channel. They're putting out a lot of good historical content right now. And that's one of the things that Ken really wanted to do, taking over as president, is to start getting a lot of the history put down into different mediums and outside of all these people's heads that are now starting to get old enough to, we're losing them.
We're losing them.
Yeah. So another cool resource to look at Rubicon Trail stuff.
Nice.
But we're going to talk about mine and Jimmy's personal favorites of the trail. And we originally thought about, let's come up with 5 things each. And I don't know if that's going to happen. I think that's more than five things each. So we'll see. We're just going to kind of go based on time, and we'll see how many things we get through.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's start at the top.
Okay.
The first, what is the number one reason or number one thing you go to do, or why you go up to the Rubicon, Jimmy?
Probably the number one reason that I go up to the Rubicon is to just get away.
Yeah.
It's really, it's a place that's absolutely gorgeous. It's up in the mountains. We've joked on the past that we have a thing that we call nature bath. And when you are self-employed and you get caught up on a lot of things in life, and you always have something to do, and there's never enough time. And sometimes you just need to step away and, let things line themselves out to some extent. But because you're stepping away, you can relax. You can get your mindset back together. And that's probably one of the major reasons that I enjoy going up to the Rubicon. Yeah, it's not completely away. It is a busier trail. It is a quite trafficked trail. but you're still up in the mountains. You're still doing your own thing. Yeah. You're going to talk to other people. It's not like a solo trip, you know, it's just, you're not sitting in front of a computer at your house. You know, you're just getting away. You're putting yourself into nature and you're relaxing and having a good time off-roading. That's probably the number one reason. I'm similar, not exactly the same, but the reason why I go up there and the number one thing that I look forward to, that I look and enjoy doing, is just getting out into the grandeur of Crystal Basin. Sure.
You get out there and you have these absolutely stunning, gorgeous landscape that you are such a minuscule little part of. But you're still a part of it, right?
And then you look down at an ant.
And then you look, exactly. You look down at an ant and you're like, man, does he know what's going on? I don't know. But anyways, it's the grandeur of it for me. And just kind of like you said, it is a little bit of resetting, because I think in life we get too wrapped up around our own individual personal needs and personal thoughts, and getting out into the grandeur of stuff just kind of like lets all that go, because you realize that you're such a little part of what's really going on in this world. And to me, and that's why I reset mentally, is just because it helps me remind me that it's not all about me. The world doesn't revolve around me. I'm such a little part of this world. It just, take it easy, relax. These are not big problems. And it helps me get back to that headspace.
And I completely understand and agree with that. But both of our comments kind of are more just getting out. Esque. So what is one of the main reasons and key features of why you like going to the Rubicon?
Well, that's it. Crystal Basin.
Crystal Basin.
Crystal Basin just does it for me. There's other trails all good. Like, I don't get that feeling at Fordyce.
Yeah.
Fordyce, we're like down in the bottom of a canyon the entire time.
Yeah.
So you don't really get these feelings of grandeur.
No.
And like Slick
You are along a river though.
And I love being along a river for the beauty, and it's a very calming thing for me to be around a river, but rivers don't necessarily force my mind to disconnect mentally.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, for some reason, just being in big, wide open spaces and being able to look down from above.
Yeah. I was just about to go like, well, what if you go to Death Valley?
Yeah, so like Death Valley, I don't think that would do it for me either.
It's a big, wide open space.
It's big, but you're not looking down at anything. You're not seeing the grandeur.
Is that just because you're tall?
Maybe. I'm just trying to extend to that.
Yeah.
Maybe the same reason I like being up on towers, radio towers.
Maybe.
Like Signal Peak,
down on people.
Signal Peak. I love being on top of Signal Peak.
Yeah, that one's cool.
And it's just something about being at high elevation, looking down on the world.
Yeah. There is something,
I don't know,
grandeur about that. There's, you do kind of separate yourself in a way, and there's some sort of accomplishment. Like, I got here, I'm at the top.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm thinking a lot about backpacking right now.
Yeah.
Like, if you hike to the top of a mountaintop, you know, like Whitney or Shasta.
Why do people chase the seven peaks? The 7 peaks in the world kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a sense of accomplishment on that side. And Crystal Basin is gorgeous. And the Crystal Basin has a lot of different like topography to it. What do you want to call it? The micro climates in a way. Yeah. Because you wheel in on a forest and then you end up at a huge granite bowl that has like no trees in it.
Yeah.
Right. And then you go back into a forest and then you end up in like a meadow with a small pond. And then you get back in a forest and then you're on a granite slab near the top of a hill. Yeah. And then you're driving down a granite slab to get to a lake. There's a lot of different types of microclimates along there.
That is very true. There are, yeah.
And so it kind of changes often. Where like Fordyce, you're just in the trees along a river in a granite rocky area almost the whole entire time until you start driving up towards Winch Hill 3, and then you drive away from the river and you're in the trees in a rocky area, except for that one side of the hill where it's barren.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. There's something different about Rubicon.
Yeah.
That I don't get the same feeling everywhere else when I go out into nature.
Sure.
So like, I don't get the same feeling sitting at Barrett Lake as I
Sure.
do from at the top of Indian Trail or the top of the bowl when you come out of Gatekeeper and just crest over the top of the bowl. I don't get that same feeling at Barrett.
That was going to be one of my key features.
Okay.
Was coming out, getting through Gatekeeper, going up Snail Hill, and then your first time really looking out at the Granite Bowl.
Yep.
And it's really jaw-dropping.
It is.
Especially your very first time seeing it. Like, but still every single time I get up there and I check, just drive over that hill and see this huge granite bowl of barren land that's just solid granite. You're just like, okay, I'm here.
Yep.
I'm actually here.
Yep.
This is rad. It's cool. It's unique. You don't normally see something like this.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
I would agree. That's definitely probably on the trail itself. That's the first thing that I look forward to hitting on the trail is that point. Like I'll get up there and, I'm airing down and I'm relaxing. Like as soon as I start hitting the tree line, I'm relaxing. I could feel myself coming down from the city life, stress and everything, anxiousness,
stress of driving up there.
Yeah. And then I get the tree line. I'm okay. I'm airing down. I'm okay. I'm going, through the spillway, up the slab there, going through Gatekeeper, but it never really fully falls off until you crest out of Gatekeeper and get to the top of the bowl. Right when I hit that point, 100% every single time, it just all goes away. And I'm like, I'm here.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's a fantastic spot. It's always fun. Like we drove out there one time to have lunch with our significant others.
Yep.
And just that it was a day trip picnic for us to just drive to the top of the Granite Bowl, have lunch, hang out for a little bit, and then we turned around and went home.
Yep.
That was a fun day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one's definitely on there for me. Another reason that I really enjoy the Rubicon is just the different lakes.
Yeah.
That are out there.
They are very different too.
They are very different. And maybe I'll open it up a little bit more. Water features. There's a lot of key destination spots and it's with every trail out there, I would say, but they're always trying to get to a water feature, right? You can go to Ellis Creek, you can get to Spider Lake, you can get to Buck Island Lake, you can go to the Rubicon Springs. You've all heard of those. Every single one of those is a water feature. Yeah, that's a good point. So I really like the fact that they're so diverse. They're different. Ellis Creek's a creek that has the bridge built over it. Spider Lake's a crazy maze of canal lakey thing that just has, it's like a lake with 100 islands in it. Yeah. And weird peninsulas. It doesn't even, I don't know. It does have a bunch of hundreds of little islands, but I don't even know if you call them islands. They're just like little rock poke outs that stick out of the lake. And it's called Spider Lake because supposedly when you look at it from above, it has legs out like a spider. It just goes every direction. Yep. Buck Island Lake. I've never actually been to the island. I haven't either, actually. Yeah. I've always threatened to swim out there and check it out, but I've never have. But there's just an island in the middle of a decent sized lake. I actually have yet to ever go over to the waterfall that comes in. I haven't either. I've never been to the waterfall. Yeah. So those would be fun, and then Rubicon Springs there's the springs there, but there is a river or a large creek that runs down through that little canyon there and is a great swimming holes, has fantastic swimming holes from Rubicon Springs, down quite a ways to Dirty Dozen with the waterfalls. Yep. The key features, the water features. I like the water features, and I'm a water person. I'm a water boy for sure. Yep. But they're all different. Yeah, they are totally, which is neat as well. I've never really thought about the difference of the water features and how different they all are. So, yeah, there's a one little creek that I have never checked out that I really want to. It's still on my to-do list. Yeah. Is where the wagon road used to go through. Sure. Okay. And apparently there's a spot where you can still see the indentations of the wagons. Oh, cool. In the rocks down at a little river crossing just north of Spider Lake, I believe it is. Oh. A little bit east of Spider, but just north and east of Spider. Yeah. There was also a little creek in the new RTF property. Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's some really cool water features there. Some really nice little hangout swim holes in. Yeah. I've sort of been to the top side of it, not the out down below. Yep. Yeah. That's a good point. I never thought about that before.
Yeah, I like it. One thing that I really like, kind of on that is down at the springs. I just like going to the springs.
The springs there's something about the springs that's fun. It's got heritage. It's, you know, it's a lot of history happening in that area. There, you know, and it's been like, you know, from episode 220, we knew that the Indians were going up there during the summer, you know, so it's been around for a long time. You know, it's changed hands from farming to actually a hotel, you know, and then, you know, more recently it's become, you know, from the hotel, from being brought back to life, and become a campground for the most part. Yeah.
I like that there's a lot to do in the springs.
There is.
There's a ton of hiking. You can get around to a lot of places. You can go hike up into the RTF property, the Granite Loop property, just cross the creek there, the river, and then hike up the hillside and get up to the property. You can go out to the stone cabin, which is really cool to see.
It's a really neat spot.
You can go and just hang out in the waterfalls. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different levels to go and hang out in the waterfalls. You can just go swimming in the swimming holes. You can go fishing.
The endless amount of swimming.
There's a lot of swimming holes
everywhere you go down that creek, there's a swimming hole.
Yep. Another fun thing to do is you can, if you're camped in the kind of what they call the VIP area, where there's a kind of a big bonfire. It's a big fire pit. You can camp literally right on the river.
Yes.
And what you can do is face your vehicle towards the river, pull your winch line out, and get in the river on a floaty and just kind of hang out and tie off your floaty to your winch line and take a nap or something.
Yep. I've seen people there and at Buck Island Lake pull their winch lines out and make like zip lines.
Oh yeah. That would be fun too. So yeah, there's that. Crawdad fishing.
The river otters.
Watching the river otters play. And there's a lot to do in the springs. And so I really enjoy, if I'm not just kind of like motoring through the trail, just going for a day trip or something, I really want to stay at the springs and just lounge there for a weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a fun point to stop on the trail. I think a lot of people stop at Buck Island Lake because it's free.
I agree. Yeah.
But in my opinion, there's more fun things to do around in the springs, and it doesn't get as rowdy.
Yeah.
So if you have a family, you know, some kids that you don't necessarily want around the rough and rowdy or the 2 a.m. rev limiter going off, then the springs are a great option.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. There, just Buck Island just gets rowdy, and that's cool if you enjoy that at nighttime. My biggest thing is that at nighttime.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, once I start getting tired, I just want to go to bed. I don't want to have V8 buggies going around hitting rev limiters and rolling over down hills and stuff near me. So I try and stay in the springs, but Buck Island has its own fun features, like going over and checking out the tunnel.
Yeah.
Just to stand there and look at it and realize how big it is and that they drilled that all the way down to Loon Lake.
Right.
It's impressive when you look at it and just understand that.
So what's the tunnel for? Or what is it?
Just to connect the two reservoirs. So it's the connecting Buck Island to Loon Lake, so that they can control and have more of a reserve of water for Loon Lake and the power stations that are at Loon and below Loon.
Yeah.
For SMUD. And so what they were trying to do was connect a bunch of the lakes up there together, including Spider, and have Spider go into Loon as well.
Yeah.
And they failed at it.
Right.
Mainly the topography was a little difficult to get around. They had to kind of build flumes elevated in the air.
Yeah. Aqueducts
kind of thing. And every winter they just got destroyed. So they finally canned the project, but they left this really cool section Jimmy and I have talked about in the podcast before, right outside, just south of Soup Bowl. That is just a big trench in the ground, 12, 15 foot deep, perfectly straight, perfectly cut walls. That's 50, 60 feet long.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's pretty gnarly. I mean, you hop into that trench and you're like, you know,
this is deeper than it looks.
It's deeper than it looks. You're fully below the ground level, and you're like, this is solid rock. Like they were literally dynamiting this and carrying these chunks of rock out.
Yep.
Just craziness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another fun little feature that I enjoy showing other people. But if I'm there by myself, I'm like, yeah, I've seen it a lot.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah, I don't really look forward to that experience and seeing it myself anymore. But if I'm with a newbie on the trail, that's one of my favorite things to do is go show them the trench if they want to see it.
Yeah, I think that just goes to show that there's just so much going on and history on this trail, which not a lot of other trails that I know of have the amount of history based around the specific trail.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool on its own. Is, like every inch of this trail has some sort of story.
Yeah.
It's, from going back to all the obstacle names to weird things that have happened on the trail, like building the bridge because now you're not allowed to drive through Ellis Creek. And, what's it called? Where they built, there's a really big marshy area before Walker Hill that you drive over the culvert.
Oh, the culvert, the FOTR culvert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the FOTR culvert. So there's, that, and which nobody ever notices.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that it's actually there, or what it's doing. You just drive along the trail and you go. Another, a subtle bonus of the trail is that there's porta potties all along.
Yes. Yep.
Right?
It's very nice for the ladies to come out and families to come out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't think it's a very big deal. But then when you gotta go, and you're like, oh, here's a porta potty, and they're serviced, right? I don't know how often the poop truck drives up and down the trail, especially during the peak season.
I think it's, I should
like
know
weekly.
This. It's weekly, bi-monthly, or monthly, and I forget which one it is. I want to say monthly is too much time in between.
I think so.
Yeah,
but it's there. It's not bad, and it's not. I don't know why. I wouldn't include that in one of the cool key features, but it's just a nice thing that's out there.
Yep. One thing that I enjoy doing is, I just had it and I lost it. I'll go to the other one. Driving. Oh, I don't know if I can talk about this one.
Oh, there's something secret.
It's technically off trail. The passage above Little Sluice.
Oh, it is and it isn't. The high line.
Yeah, the high line at Little Sluice.
I mean, there's so many routes around Little Sluice, including, driving up Little Sluice, the sluice box, or the bypass, and then there's a high line. But they were taking people down the high line during Jeepers Jamboree.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's technically not on trail, but it's technically... It's in technically, I don't know. Yeah,
it's in between the trail and the bypass, and then there's a bypass on the other side of Little Sluice, the bailout, I should say. So yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky spot there, and it's a cool little spot. It's this really tight, very, I don't want to say super technical, but very tight trail. And if there's somebody down in Little Sluice, it's fun to kind of stop there, get out, and kind of watch them for a little bit while you're looking down and having a good time.
By watch, he means heckle.
Heckle, yes, for sure. But I really like that little hill on the other side.
The drop?
The drop as you're coming down. For some reason, that's one of my favorite drops on the Rubicon.
Huh. Okay.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I like that drop, and I like coming back up it too, driving up it. So.
Yeah. Every time I go up it, I do a different route though.
You do?
I can't find like a good route to do. And then I think eventually I always end up sliding driver at almost pointing backwards, and then I make it up. But I always seem to try to attack it from a different line so I could get up, but then I just kind of work my way driver, and then they pop up. So maybe I should just always just swing around and start on driver, and who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll find my own line.
Yeah, maybe
up there.
So that's a fun spot for me on the trail. And I look forward to hitting that spot, whether I'm coming in or going out of the trail either time.
Yeah. Yeah. There's tons and tons of hiking to do.
Lots.
There's all kinds of trails out in the area that you can kind of walk wherever you want to some small extent. There's a trail around the backside of Buck Island Lake. There's a trail from Loon Lake to Spider, which would be fun to do sometime.
I didn't know about that one.
It's on the other side of Loon Lake.
Okay.
From where we drive in.
Okay.
So there's the campgrounds on like the
North Shore campground.
North Shore campgrounds.
Yeah.
North Shore campgrounds, not the ones on. I would say North Shore are the ones right by the spillway.
Correct. Yeah, the North Shore Campground, that's the name of that campground.
Yeah, so I would say it's South Shore Campground.
Okay, on that side.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You can park in that general area, and then you can walk around that backside of Loon, and there's a trail up over the saddle of the mountains there down into Spider.
Into Spider? I thought that's not the one that goes to Buck?
I don't know if it goes to Buck also, but I do know it goes to Spider.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and there's, for people, I do know people that don't have off-road rigs.
Yeah.
That will hike in that direction and get picked up at Spider.
Isn't that what John was doing that one time?
John was going to pick up his daughter. That was doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny. I just remembered that.
Yeah.
That's cool. That would be a fun hike. I've never done that one before.
No.
One thing that I really want to do, again, on my to-do list for the trail, other than the original wagon road, is to go hunting for all the memorials on the trail.
Oh,
there's a lot of memorials on the trail. I didn't realize how many there were, but they're out there, and not all of them are from quote unquote the wheeling era.
Oh, okay.
There's a couple there that are from gold mining times kind of stuff. And so John Arns and Glenn were talking about them over the radio one day, and I was eavesdropping on the repeater, and I was like,
that's when we were hiking to
the Stone Cabin. Yeah. They were talking about them all. I was like,
during
that would
Rubicon.
be kind of cool to go around and do like a memorial search and find. Yeah. Hunt. I don't know.
It'd be like the poker run of memorials.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Somebody stashes a deck of cards at each one. You have to take a card.
Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, but that's on my to-do list. I would love to pick some of the old timers, quote unquote, brains and figure out where all the memorials are and then try and go find them.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That once again, I mean, a lot of it seems to fall back onto history.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history on this trail, a lot of history in that area.
Yeah.
The entire Gold Rush, reformed that entire area to some small extent.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just a lot of cool things out on this trail and surrounding areas.
Yep.
If you're a big hiker, right next door, and I'm not even sure, I think the Rubicon might even go through it, is Desolation Wilderness.
I think it goes through a little little section. Yeah.
Yeah. And Desolation Wilderness is a wilderness, which we've talked about an extended period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Desolation Wilderness is interesting too, because they only allow X amount of people in the wilderness at one time.
Yeah.
The entire wilderness area, I don't know what it is, whatever X is, 25, 50 or whatever the number is. Those are the only amount of people that are ever allowed in that designated Desolation Wilderness area. But it has some spectacular views, awesome islands, lakes, and a lot of lake destination hiking. And it's in Crystal Basin. So it's this huge granite area, which is really desolate because it's all granite, which Desolation Wilderness is a total perfect name for that.
Yeah.
That hiking area.
Yep. Yeah. It's a really cool spot there. Crystal Basin, Desolation Wilderness. It's all nice and lots of hiking and stuff to do up there. What are some of the obstacles that you really enjoy hitting? Like, I know that there's a lot of obstacles on the trail. You're just like going through like, oh, okay, yeah, we did whalebones again, or oh, there's Supple. I don't know, I'll pass Supple today, whatever.
Sure.
But what are like some of the obstacles you see them and you're like, oh yeah, I got to go over this every time?
That's a good question. I mean, I do usually hit Snail Hill every time, just so I can be like, yay, Snail Hill, which is not even an obstacle. It's just something that we've
turned into an obstacle in our heads.
Yeah. I do like, so right before Whalebones, there's that rock in the middle of the trail that you would have to typically get quite off camber to go around. And every single time I do the bypass on that one.
I do too.
I go high. I don't think a lot of people know about it because it, like, you'll recognize it as you're passing it. Like, oh, there's another line here.
Yep.
But you can kind of go high and drop down off of that.
Yep.
And then you have to make a sharp, hard passenger turn to get onto the main trail. Yep. It's not an obstacle necessarily, but in its way, it's a bypass, a Jeep trail, but it's a one that I always take.
Now I'm curious, do you enjoy taking that route or do you just not enjoy the big rock in the middle of the trail?
I enjoy taking a line that most people don't recognize.
Okay.
And that's usually that. But I go that route the majority of the time to avoid the big rock in the trail.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never like particularly I take that route every single time too. I don't like that big rock in the trail.
Right.
And so I've gotten to doing it just because I don't like the rock. I don't necessarily enjoy the route or have any look forward to it per se.
Okay.
But I don't know.
I think tree line, which I don't think is technically part of the trail either.
Okay.
There's a line on the driver's side that I take every single time, which usually looks more intimidating, but Bobcat typically always walks up it.
Yeah. Yep.
Though
Bobcat
it didn't the
has
last
a great
time.
wheelbase for that line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably the obstacle that I will always go or usually aim at, except for the last time that I went. I tried to go the way you normally go, and I high centered myself.
That's right. Yeah.
And we had to use the Spartan rope soft shackle recovery hitch to pull me out.
You got pulled out by a Kiwi.
I did. Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I have a winch on my truck. I can pull myself out.
I don't think I can get up that line in the 4Runner
anymore.
Not the one that I typically, the one you like. Yeah. The tree line. I don't think I can get up that line in the 4Runner.
No.
I haven't really given it a hard try with the new axles. I might be able to freaking launch the rig up or something, but like, it would get me too off camber in the with the Toyota axles.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that Bobcat you don't need to launch it in Bobcat.
I know.
Right? Bobcat
so
will
long.
it'll creep up that usually. I'll have to give it a little Moab bump, but it just, as soon as you get the rear tires starting to climb, the front tires grab and it pulls it all the way up.
Yep. Yeah.
I would say that's probably the obstacle that I enjoy the most. I also, right before that really steep granite smooth climb, right after you climb, you go over, you know what I'm talking about? You go over the dam and then there's a rocky ledge and then you turn left to go up into the trees.
Giant rock boulder thing. And you just go right up that
smooth rock boulder. You just need to hit it with a little bit of momentum to go up.
Yeah.
I usually always try to hit that too.
You do that one? Okay. Yeah. That's a fun one. I've never tried that line.
Oh.
See, in any vehicle. I've never tried that line before.
See, that line's not, I don't know why. It's not hard. It's not difficult. But what's great about that line is it lines you up perfectly to continue down the trail.
Yeah.
Where if you drive around that climb, you're doing this huge S and then you get up to where I pop back onto the trail, you're turning hard passenger and climbing a little wall.
Oh, there's a little, and you have to do it in such a way that if you're coming up and you turn passenger too soon, you go off a cliff.
Yeah.
But if you don't
not
turn,
a big cliff,
not a big cliff, it's a small
a good
cliff.
drop, but
it would roll you over if you turn anyways. Bad spot. But if you stay driver too long, there's a giant boulder that you can't see.
It's poking out.
Yeah. And you just hit it and you're like, what the hell did I just hit? Yep. So you kind of have to gauge it just right. And most of the time I never gauge it right. And I end up having to do like a 3 or 4 point turn on top of that ledge there.
So now you're going to go up that slick climb.
I might try it.
Because when you get over that, it's just perfect. You just stay straight.
Yeah.
You the one thing you see the rock on your driver's side, the one that's poking out, so you know where that is.
Yeah,
and all you got to pay attention to is where the drop off is on the other side.
Yeah,
you're fine. You walk through it.
Interesting. Okay.
I think a lot of my lines that I choose are it's a harder initial obstacle, but it helps me later. Ever so slightly down the trail.
I got it. Yeah,
like the one for just
the tree line.
The one with the boulder in the middle. Like it's not an obstacle, but it it helps me later down the trail.
Yeah. That's a good point. There's one spot that I really enjoy hitting. And it's the I don't even know if you would call it a bypass, because I think going up Arnold's Rock is easier.
Okay.
But there's that little ledge on the driver's side, 30, 40 feet before the Arnold's Rock climb.
Yeah.
And that little ledge there, for whatever reason, I love going up that ledge.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's not a particularly difficult ledge, but it looks gnarly. And if you just put your tires in the right spot, it just climbs effortlessly.
Sure.
And if you don't get it, then you kind of get to sit there and work at it a little bit, get all 4 tires spinning. and work back and forth to kind of slide around on that little ledge there until you find where the traction is and go up.
Right.
I don't know, I really enjoyed that little climb right there. Is like, I'm going to hit that every single time.
Yeah. I used to enjoy going through between the big boulders on Arnold's Rock.
I used to enjoy that as well until I put a really big dent in the vehicle doing it. I was like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Well, it's now the rocks are moved around and such that it just looks very difficult to get up and through that area without damaging your vehicle.
Yeah.
So I don't go that route anymore. I'll go around the rock now. So yep. I have one other one. It's off trail.
Oh,
so I don't know if you have any more.
That I really enjoy doing. That would be a little different. Maybe not everybody knows about. Maybe they do know about it.
Or another key feature.
Another key feature. I love observation point.
Yeah.
Just getting up to observation, just looking back again at the grandeur of where you just came through and figuring out where everything is. And I really enjoy observation points kind of at the end of the trail, or even if I'm coming in from Tahoma, just to stop there and get a view of what I'm about to drop into and have fun with the next couple of days with.
It's always fun to hit observation point at sunset.
Yeah.
But then I don't like wheeling out the rest of the trail in the dark.
Yeah. So I can see that.
You know, it's fun to do Rubicon Springs to observation point and then at sunset and then go down Cadillac on the way back to the Springs.
Yeah.
So that's always a fun thing. So my last major item that are, for the most part, that I can think of is just the general area of that Northern California Rubicon.
Okay.
Where, I mean, Placerville is a really cool city. You know, it's an old hangtown 1849, you know, hubbub of a place. The downtown in Placerville is really cool. It's got, I think they're wooden sidewalks. There are
a couple spots.
Some wooden sidewalks there. And then, which I consider, which it may or may not be correct. I consider that's sort of the starting entrance area of the Rubicon. Like I consider Loon Lake the entrance of the Rubicon and out observation point to Tahoma the exit. I don't know why. It's just I live below it, so it's easier for me to get to that side of it. I almost never go over to Placerville because it's not on my route, but Placerville, sister city is Auburn, which is more my territory. Also really cool old town, great downtown as well. Both really cool cities. And then the top part, Tahoe, is South Lake Tahoe is a fun destination as well. So the trail is awesome, but it will, you know, before or after the trail, there's some fun things to do as well. Once you get out. Or good places to stay and eat and, or get a hotel for the night. Yeah.
Lots of good stuff around there. For sure. Did you know that the hanging tree for Placerville is technically still there?
No.
From where they used to hang people at, why it got the name Hangtown. The tree is in the basement of one of the bars.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
And so they keep it locked up and no one can go visit it. I'm pretty sure it's just the stump now, but that's the tree.
Interesting.
That the Hangtown got its name
like
from.
Our rounds. From the big sluice tree.
Yep. So the tree is still there. That's a fun little fact about Placerville. I don't know. It's a really cool area. There's a lot of history there. So much of California was founded based on the gold rush, right?
Oh yeah.
And it all happened literally right there in El Dorado County. And so much of what's happened in El Dorado County and what's happened in that area is based around the gold that was there. And we have a lot of recreation opportunities out there today because of the gold. That was found out there. So
because we're all millionaires.
That's the gold. Anybody who lives in California, millionaire, man.
That's exactly. Our ancestors found so much gold.
Yes. Oh man, I wish
we have so much wasted money. We can just spend it on rigs like ours.
Yeah. I will give a fun bonus feature.
I'm ready.
It's not on the Rubicon Trail, but if you're out getting to or from the Rubicon, you're kind of early by half a day or something.
Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Uncle Tom, that's a good one. I wouldn't go out of my way to visit Uncle Tom's.
I've never been there.
Oh, really?
I've never ever been to Uncle Tom's.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, never. I always drive past it. Pretty much every time I go to the Rubicon, I drive past it.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm like, oh, there's the road to Uncle Tom's. Maybe we should hit it on the way back. And usually we're on the way back. It's late at night. We're like, we just want to get home.
Yeah.
You know? Yep. Never, ever have I been there.
Oh, you're
not
hilarious.
a snow wheeling trip or anything. Yeah.
Wow, Jimmy, I'm so disappointed in you right now. No, there is a B-17 bomber crash out in that area of near the Rubicon. So if you know where it is and know where to find it, there's a couple of B-17 bombers actually in the El Dorado County. But this one in particular is very close to the Rubicon. I'm not going to tell you where it is, but there is information out there on how to find it. So if you're there half a day early or half a day extra to spend, look up the B-17 bomber and go check it out. It is very impressive. It is a memorial. So please leave everything intact. Be respectful if you do go there. And realize that this is a memorial. I think it was 8-9 people lost their lives at this site. So be very respectful of that if you do go. But it's a really spectacular sight to see.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I have been to that.
Yeah.
So. And surrounding areas, there's a lot of fun things to do. Like we were sort of talking about cities and the bomber. Barrett Lake's not far away.
Yep.
Fordyce isn't far away. We'll probably touch on those in a future episode.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all kind of Hellhole isn't far away. There's a lot of fun trails. So if you run the Rubicon, you've done the Rubicon, it's old news. I did the Rubicon, I want to try something else. Yeah. There's a lot of fun trails in the surrounding areas and up there.
Yep. Well, cool, man. That's our episode for this Monday. And some of our really cool things that we look forward to when going out to the Rubicon, some things that give us a lot of joy about that trail. So if you guys have, you go up to the trail frequent. I know we have quite a few listeners here in NorCal and SoCal that frequent on the Rubicon. Give us a call and let us know what your favorite highlights are from that trail. 916-345-4744. I'm curious if... I know there's stuff that we missed, and it would be really fun to hear about some of those items that other people really enjoyed too. So give us a call. Let us know what those are. We'll talk about them on a Friday episode during Snail Mail. And I guess if you want to get a hold of Jimmy or I, there's Instagram, social media, Facebook, emails, the phone line, lots of ways to get a hold of us. You guys know what those are. Jimmy, anything else that we missed or forgot about?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that there's something special about it, something different for everybody. And, you and I both know a lot of people that make an annual trip to the Rubicon.
Yeah.
From kind of wherever they are. That every year they've got to get to the Rubicon and wheel the Rubicon.
Yep.
Because there's just something special about it.
Definitely. And one thing that I really like about it is that most of what we talked about today wasn't even about the wheeling.
No.
It was, I had to prompt us to talk about the obstacles and what we're wheeling there. Everything that we thought of first on our own without being prompted was all stuff to do while we're there. The adventure, the experience, and the things to see and do while you're there, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah. So 100%.
All right, man. Jimmy, any final words for everybody out there to close us up?
Crawdad feeds.
And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
I'm ready.
What goes woof, woof, tick, tick?
A dog carrying a bomb?
That could very well be.
Okay.
But it could also be a watchdog.
Okay. I like mine better.
Yeah. Yours sounds a bit more explosive.